They didn't really do anything in free agency. They only lost players. They had the Randy Gregory thing blow up in their face, and again, like those are things that and I'm sure you guys have been in that boat, and you say things like this only happens to us, and I think every fan base goes through that. But the
For
Randy Gregory
sure.
thing is like this would only happen to the Cowboys. Jerry Jones flashing the team's board after the first
The
night of the
jury was
draft
wilding, bro.
would only happen to the. I mean, we were one of our writers was part of the group that kind of decoded that. That is literally the third time that blogging the boys has had a hand in decoding a Dallas Cowboys draft board just in the last 10 years. And we're just a blog and fans. Like that's amazing when you really think about it. It was an underwhelming draft, I think, especially when you factor in everything I've said and that this team loves to say we don't believe in free agency, we don't want to overspin, we believe in the draft.
What's going on, y'all? This is Mual, your host of the Trap or Die podcast, and I'm just here to tell you, man, while you're here, if you're new, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow us, man, as we continue to push out this content and create some things for the Washington Commanders and the NFL, man. But mainly the Commanders. This is a Washington channel. I want everybody to be involved. I want everybody to catch these live streams weekly. I want everybody to be a part of this growth that we got going on over here, man. So if you're here, if you're new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you stay tuned, man, for much more content, fire content, and as we keep things pushing, man. So yeah, get to it. We appreciate it. All that good stuff. Peace. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Trap or Die podcast, provided to you by 214 Media. I am your host, Marley Maul. Hen Dog Maul, Henny Maul, all that good stuff. Coach Maul, can't forget it. Can't forget it. Rise in the building. Nick is on the way. You know what's frustrating for everybody that's listening? When we set these things up, like I get a notification through my phone because Nick does this thing a certain way. So I get a notification through my phone that he's about to log in and hop into the stream. We just started this zone about 4 minutes ago. Nick logged in about 10 minutes ago. This nigga
I
still
logged
ain't
in
on.
early too. I was trying to fix my iPad right quick. I couldn't hear the sound.
So you just, yeah, why I was 2 minutes late. But I'm
No, I was
saying,
early though. That's what I'm saying. I was on here trying to get my situation together, bro.
yeah, for sure at 7:02. Nah, you good. Ain't no big deal. Ain't no big deal. But Nick is the problem child, bro. Nick is the problem child, and he think this shit okay. But listen. Rise in the building, man. Nick on the way. Eventually, one of these days. And then we got the good man, RJ Ochoa, a good friend of the show, man. Blogging the boys, SB Nation's blog site for the Dallas Cowboys, and he is the host of the Ocho and SB Nation NFL show. So he's going to chop it up with us for a little bit. Help Nick been asking for it. And that's the funny thing. Nick ain't even on this show, but he been asking us to get these Dallas guys on, man. And we got RJ to check back in with us. He gonna check
So waste of time,
in with
bro.
us in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So we can get his feel on he is gonna talk about Washington. He likes to talk a little trash and stuff like that, but mainly see what the Dallas football team is on over there in that Arlington area of Texas. Ryan, how you feeling, man? Everything good with you?
I'm good, man. Feeling good on this good Wednesday.
Thought it was Friday,
Uh,
bro.
I was about to say Good Friday for a second, just because it sounded right. But feeling good, bro. Just got out the gym, nice little workout. Feeling refreshed, you know. Ready for the
Yeah,
show. Ready,
man.
ready, ready to talk about a few things, bro. We got a few things to talk about. So.
That little lower body motherfucker exercise put a through it today, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I felt good though, man. It was hot as hell for some reason. Felt like it was 80 degrees in
Ali
that joint.
said, Ali said it just happened like that. He said he need to turn that shit up.
Oh, I'm cool with it though. Especially if I need to lose a little weight. I'll take the heat. Okay. So for those who are listening, man, we got some new listeners, some new viewers and stuff like that. Well, just a reminder or introduction to the other side of Trapper Dive. It's all 32 side, man. It's been around forever. It's always been around. It's actually the first show
Yeah.
that we had. But all
Mm-hmm.
32 side of Trapper Dive, man. In the off season, we are streaming This one is recorded clearly, but we're streaming it bi-weekly. So you got some new voices to hear and some new faces to see in Rad Dog, Nick, Rick, whenever he's around, things like that.
Right.
So with that
Right.
being said, Rye, you had yourself a motherfucking weekend, man, and it wasn't for the better. Um, for those who want to know what's going on, I'm going to allow Rye to get it off his chest and walk us through everything that happened. But for those who aren't aware, Ryan is a Titans fan. He is
Yeah.
a diehard Titans fan. He's been a fan since they were the Oilers in fucking '78. That's how old he is.
Relax, bro. Just relax, bro. Too
My
far.
bad, my bad, my bad. But he's been a fan for a long time. You catch my drift, right? So we know what happened this weekend. AJ Brown traded to the goddamn Eagles of all teams. Ryan, why the hell your team do that to me?
First of all, to you. What you mean to you?
Yeah, they put AJ
Oh,
Brown in the
Philly.
division.
Hey, bro, I could listen, bro. I could care less about y'all division, bro. How y'all feel about that? I mean, I guess that's y'all problem to deal with. We all had a problem of trading them or having to trade them, but I mean, the draft was last Thursday. Uh, had some time to really reflect and let it all digest throughout my body and my system because I was broke down, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. Trading AJ Brown was the last thing I thought was going to happen last Thursday. I thought I was going to have a nice chill evening, sit, have a little drink with the boys, laugh, you know what I mean? Just relax night, take the
Not
best player
only
on the
that,
board.
you were at a party. Not
Yeah, man.
only
I was at a
not just
little
with the boys. You was at a party, a small little event. You know what I'm saying? Chopping it up on an annual basis. Like y'all do that thing annually, man. Like you was about to just chop it up, talk a little shit.
that's all I was there for, bro. Good time for the fellowship with the fellas. And sitting there, I'm watching the Texans. They draft Derek Stingley at LSU. And my first immediate thought was, they had to draft him to check AJ. You know what I'm saying? I don't have nobody to check that boy. So we going to have to, what I mean? It's not going to matter. I'm sitting there talking trash. I'm like, we draft this boy. He's staying to check AJ. Man, I kid you not, 20 minutes later, I'm sitting there watching. That might have been 20 minutes later, bro. Come across my phone a tweet from Adam Schefter, blockbuster. AJ Brown has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, and when I tell you, just the grin on my face went from a smile to like an automatic jaw drop and like confused, like distraught face. I was done for like 15 minutes, bro. People was trying to talk to me, laugh. I didn't have words, bro. I was sitting there in disbelief because there's no way we just traded AJ Brown. It kept. There's no way this is true, right? It's no way this is true, because coming into the year we barely have receivers now. Just released Julio. We don't have Corey Davis, of course. Lost him to the Jets of the past season. I think we had Robert Woods, but aside from that, I was thinking we were going to add to the receiver room, not trade away. But after all that settled in, we have, of course, traded for the 18th pick with Philly. Ended up drafting a receiver from Arkansas, Traylon Burks, which I was not high on in the beginning, only because I didn't do enough homework to really decide.
Now let's set the scene too. Let's set the scene.
What's the scene?
It'd be better if Nick was here. But the
Oh yeah,
whole
no,
pre-draft
yes,
process,
yes.
the whole pre-draft process, Nick
It was jokes.
hated Traylon Burks. He hated Traylon Burks, and all I could say was, I pray to God y'all get Traylon because I would love to see you miserable. And lo and behold,
how about that?
The fucking
Shit really
Titans draft Traylon Burks.
Full circle. And so now I got to change my tune. I got to find reasons because I have a thing about it. Y'all know it, bro. Like, once you get drafted to my team, it's just, I have to find good things about you unless you really just bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, aside from that, I'm happy about Traylon Burks after doing all the videos and tape that I've seen of him. He looked good. I think he'd be a nice addition. I mean, he's not AJ Brown, but I think he got the same qualities as AJ, if you ask me. I think that's, as far as play style, I think he's comparable to AJ. I mean, not to say we trying to draft somebody just like him, but I like Traylon. Looking forward to what he does this year. I ain't gonna go too far into who else we drafted unless you want me to dive some more into that.
Not right now. We're gonna talk about it.
All right.
But I do got questions, man. Because as you know, when it come to all 32, ain't no Commanders talk on this goddamn show. I ain't talking no Commanders, man. It's all about y'all. Right? Why the hell did you all do what y'all did with the contract offers? Like, it came out the week of the draft. I don't remember exactly what day anymore. The week of the draft, it was reported. So it clearly happened prior to that week. But it was reported that y'all offered them no more than $16 million. With the incentives, because I know you like to mention that part, incentives that pays him up to $20 million. But y'all offered him an AAV of $16 million. Why the hell would y'all do that to AJ, bro?
Well, the truth be told, I don't really have a real answer for that. The only thing I can think of as to why the offer was as low as it was is because we have other people to pay at upcoming seasons. We got Jeffrey Simmons coming up for contract year. We don't want to get rid of him. Had to Gabe Tannehill the contract. We got Tannehill money, paid Derrick Henry. Still paying Kevin Byard. I think he's still one of the top safeties getting paid in the league. Still got Taylor Warren's contract. I mean, if you're asking me what I have paid AJ the money, of course, I'd have gave him whatever he wanted. If he wanted 20, I'd have gave him 20. But I'm not the one running the show. John Robinson is. I mean, I have no choice but to trust his move. I mean, he hasn't steered me wrong yet since he's been there. It's a really tough decision, bro. I mean, I'm sure that you're struggling with it. I mean, it's sad, bro, because like I said, everybody loved AJ Brown in the building. Everybody talks about the relationship they had with him. You know, I don't know, bro. I really don't have a definitive answer as to why they didn't just give him the 20. I mean, he said he just stayed for 20. Well, he said he stayed for 22, something like that. I'm not sure, something like that.
Now that's a number because we're on the Commander side. The one thing that I'll say about the Commanders today, Commander side, we talking about like 23 for Terry. So if you're talking about 22, hell yeah, that's the range. That's what it'll take to get AJ. So
yeah, bro. I mean, like I said,
it may be a cap space issue, bro, because y'all niggas was terrible with the cap space.
Yeah, we got other people to pay. We just pay Bud all that money. I don't think we got a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Bud only played a few games last year, but still, we paid him the money. We definitely gonna pay Jeffrey coming up soon. So ain't got no choice.
Hey, Rye.
Yep, you got it. Well, hold on. Let's go ahead. For those who listening, Rick and Nick just checked in. The two native Dallas Cowboys fans. Very miserable, just like the Washington Commanders fans. But welcome to the show, fellas. Y'all got the floor. Go ahead.
Was good. Nah, man, I was just gonna piggyback off what Ryan was saying, man, because just like you felt it when AJ Brown was leaving, man. I felt it for you, bro. And but the only thing I could possibly wrap my mind around and think of a reason why you would let such a dominant player go, right? Or let him walk, I guess, is because you have all the other pieces to pay for, right? Like you said, y'all got other people on the team who gonna be needing contracts in the upcoming years, man. And you got 22 in the backfield, bro. And one thing I noticed last year, bro, like there was some games AJ Brown wasn't on the field. And in some of them games, bro, y'all still were looking like a dominant team when AJ Brown wasn't on the field. So it's like, okay, we looked good when he wasn't on the field, so that means I can probably get somebody else, bro, who could. They might not be able to do exactly what AJ Brown could do, but they could do enough to the point where Derrick Henry can handle the rest, or the defense can handle the rest, or the offense. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all not at a position where this one piece is gonna hurt y'all. You know, you follow me? And that's how I was looking at it in the grand scheme of things, bro. Because I never heard anything wrong about AJ, but I did notice when AJ did miss them games, some of them games y'all still look good, bro. So it's just one of the ones you got to take on the chin, no homo. And yeah, bro. And you just got hope you some shit in Philly. That's it, bro. It's gonna make you feel better.
That's
it's
all
gonna make you feel. He don't care. I looked at the video. I looked at the video your man posted. Sal. Hey yo, I was rolling when he posted the video. He's like Philly lit. When he said Philly lit, I said, oh, Sal hilarious, bro. He is hilarious, bro.
Anything that happens Titans-wise, bro, I make sure I go check his page first, bro, because I know I'm gonna get a good laugh, bro. Ooh, honestly,
he had me dying laughing.
Anything
I could
Tyrus made,
imagine
I'm going
Philly. Hey,
straight to
look,
his page, bro.
and I didn't even get a chance to talk to y'all about that either, man.
Philly is lit though.
And I'm just gonna touch on it for a hot second, just in case we talk about it today. But bruh, Philly, y'all know how I was about the Commanders last year, and where I thought they was gonna be at. Philly did some things this year, bro. They did some things,
They
bro.
did,
They
bro.
did some things, man. But go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
I ain't got too much to say about Tennessee, bro. But I will say they got my boy T Beasy, cuz. Hey, Traylon Burks on his way, bruh. Hey, Ryan said he looked at some tape. He said my boy he better than flies and bubble screens, bro. So shout out to T Beasy. Can't wait to see Burks Holmes go up for the next 5 years, bro. It's gonna be lit, bro. We lit, right? But I'm kind of happy y'all traded MJ though.
Why?
I'm not happy he went to Philly, but I do know one thing. 2 years of expectations for Jalen Hurts.
I knew he was about to say that.
He finna waste 2 years of AJ Brown
He not
career,
gonna
bro.
have 2 years, bro. He got 1 season, Slim. That's
Yeah, I think he
all.
got
Nah.
one season.
Oh, Hurts? Oh yeah, Hurts gone
No.
after the year,
Look,
bro.
look,
Hurts
bro.
Hurts got
gone.
1 year.
No, I'm saying
He
he
go,
got 1 year
Hurts
to
got
prove
1
that
year,
he can
bro.
play. Yeah, that's
he
what I'm
gonna do
saying. He
he
got
Oh,
1
gonna
year
do
to
facts.
prove
he
it.
gonna do just enough to get them to like the Hawks or something this year. But then he
But the
gonna
thing
fumble
is,
the
he get them to
bag.
the alternate. That 1 year has just turned into another half a year, brother. He got.
If you get to the
They
offs,
got
you
him to
got
the
it.
offs this year. Didn't they really make the playoffs this year?
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
but they
saying.
got to
If
the
Philly they did and
they
they
got
lost
to
the
the
first
off.
round. If
I'm with you. Go ahead.
no, I was just saying that they made it to the offs this year, and then I think that gave him another year, honestly. And then he can take him to the offs again this year. He better go 2 games in, because if he do that 1 game shit again, he out the dough. He out the
I
dough.
don't
What
know,
have you done
but
for me lately?
Yeah,
So that's what the league
getting
is
them
to
to
me.
the offs is a big feat, bro. Especially with a
I
team like that,
yeah.
bro.
It is,
They
I
bro.
suck.
think if they get to the offs,
It
bro, that's
is.
gonna be one thing. But I think the way they performed in the playoffs was another thing. Like, and how they got to the
Yep.
playoffs. Like they played sorry teams, bro. They played them twice and
Yeah,
they won the shit.
they didn't beat
They
any playoff
didn't
teams
beat
last
Yeah,
year.
they
nobody.
beat I
They
think they
didn't beat
beat y'all
nobody. So
twice. The Giants.
yep,
They had like a nice
yep.
little run. It was
They
sweet.
had a nice run. They had a good win on with Denver on the road. They beat Denver on the road. That was a good win. And I can't think of the other ones off the top of it. And I'm not about to go to their schedule because I don't care that much about Philly. But to the point is that when they went to the playoffs, they got smoked by the Bucks, bro. Why no competition?
It's the
No
Bucks
competition with
though,
Tampa
man.
Bay. So,
Come on, man.
like, I just feel like to Rick's point, and to everybody's point, really, Jalen Hurts really got 1 more year, bro, and they're allowing that to him because how they performed in 2021. But in the same vein, like if they feel like they can get more out of the quarterback position, and they don't have to run quarterback power, the read options, they don't have to run all that shit, then nigga, they be glad to do that. They be glad to move on from that shit.
Bro, the Eagles
Question
got one
though.
of the Eagles got one of the best steals in the draft, bro. One of the best steals in the draft, bro.
Who?
100%.
It's about Jordan
That boy
Davis
Dean, not Dean.
on the
I think that's
Kobe.
his name.
Jacoby.
From Georgia. Oh
Yeah,
my
That's what I
gosh,
Jacoby.
told.
bro, he's a
I told the
problem.
same thing to Scrum. Oh yeah,
And
nah.
you got
If he
him,
got
and
us,
you got another Fletcher, bro. Go ahead, Ryan.
no, I was just saying if the Kobe Dean not as injured as they tried to say he was leading up into the draft, bro, they got to steal, like you said, bro.
They got to steal. They got to
If those
steal.
injuries check out, like he not really as injured as they tried to make him out to be, oh, people
Yeah,
just slept on him because he a first round
Well,
player.
yeah,
well,
yeah.
here's the
He was
thing
first
that
round for sure.
here's the thing that I want to distinguish though. I think the reason why it's going to work in Philly is not because they got the Dean where they got him. It's because they got Jordan Davis first. I think N'Kobe Dean, like when
He
you
gonna
talk
be
about that
eating
injury
blocks up.
thing, that's gonna be one like one situation, right? Like I don't know to what extent the injury played a factor to him sliding, but he clearly slid. But when you have Jordan Davis, his teammate, the same guy who helped free him on the second level, like to make those plays at the line of scrimmage, I think that's what's gonna help their situation the most. I think that if N'Kobe Dean was to go other places in a situation where they didn't have as strong of a defensive line that can help him, then maybe he may get exposed a little bit. But to the strength of like prospect and evaluating and best fits, I think it was the smartest thing for Philly to fucking say, hey, nigga, we got Jordan Davis to go ahead and get Dean. Like he's at this point,
We're gonna
we
line
can
him up
take
right
him,
behind him.
and then we're going exactly. So you don't even have to worry about none of his concerns, none of his flaws, or anything like that. It's all about working together with the defensive line and the linebackers, bro. That shit, it's just different. So that's the only reason why I think that pick is an A plus, because they have Jordan Davis who could work with Nakobe Dean.
But they had D tackles before him though. Hargrave.
But that's what they do.
I'm about to say this is what I was thinking, bro.
But they've
Philly
also played
D-line.
together though too. That means something too. Jordan Davis and Nakobe. I'm saying they've also got a little chemistry for playing in college together.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I think regardless,
yeah, right though. But
I think regardless, whoever in the game, he don't got to worry about linemen raising to the second level because they got two fat motherfuckers in the middle that they got blocked.
Right.
And
they also got the other boy from LA Chargers too.
Cool.
White. I can't think of his first name. 44.
DN 40. I know you're talking about. Yeah. Desir White or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. He nice.
I was thinking of Hassan.
Eagles gonna be alright this year, bro.
Nah, I mean,
gonna be alright this year.
It sounds good. They're backing a little shaky though. Tell you that right now.
I mean, I feel it, man. But if it's one thing they do, yeah, damn sure right. You damn sure right. I promise you that.
Take a couple slices to the crib, cuz. Them niggas.
I mean, that better be how they get it. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that quarterback gonna have no time with them boys up there. I promise you that. Especially if they get back to the old Eagles defense, Fletcher in the prime defense. Yeah.
Hey, so listen. We got one more thing to talk about because I ain't gonna. It's nothing stupid. RJ Ochoa is gonna be checking in probably about 5 minutes. I want to get y'all opinion. We all gonna have a conversation, just open floor type shit, right? Right. We talked about this Friday morning, if not Thursday, the week of the draft. So last week, we literally said there was an opportunity for the Tennessee Titans to draft Malik Willis.
Yeah.
And we talked about how this can work, all of these things, laid out the whole entire scenario for Malik Willis. And lo and behold, these motherfuckers draft Malik Willis. 3rd round, day 2 for the Tennessee Titans. Man, how the fuck do you feel about Malik Willis in Tennessee? And
who's Malik Willis?
Matter of fact, Malik, I'll ask that question, and then I'll ask you about what Tannehill said in his presser. So I'll ask you that question.
Oh, that guy. Okay, I know y'all.
Was you trying to be funny? Right? Was that?
No. No sarcasm. I had no idea he was until Mual said the presser, because I remember watching a Ryan Tannehill interview and he was talking about something about I don't have to be his mentor. That's the situation you're talking about, right?
Yeah, that's the presser. Okay. Yeah.
All right, right. Okay. I wasn't familiar with him until that video. You don't watch college that much, but I'm familiar now. But go ahead.
So yeah, like I already talked about on the show a few times, I already knew going into the draft we needed to draft one. So that was already on my mind. At some point in one of these rounds, one of the early rounds, we needed to draft a quarterback. Never in my mind did I think Malik Willis would be on the board at the, let alone 2nd round to the 3rd. Like after the 1st round had passed, like you said, you and I had a conversation because we had a high 2nd round draft pick because I thought he was going to go high in the 2nd.
Yeah,
I thought he was going to be one of the first picks. So the fact that we had the 35th pick in the 2nd round, I'm thinking, well, shoot, you can get him right there if you wanted to. I was more so thinking like Desmond Ridder at some point in the 3rd round. I thought he would be there. I was kind of surprised. I forgot he went to Atlanta. He went before Malik Willis went. I thought that would be a perfect spot for Malik Willis, honestly. But the fact that he was able to last to the 3rd round for us to get him where we got him, I think is great value. I think there's a lot of upside in Malik Willis, and I'm really looking forward to whenever he is ready to play. Honestly.
Well, let's get specifics then. When we talk about Malik Willis, man, like Well, first of all, let me ask you, like, this is a quick answer. Have you had an opportunity to like do your research on Malik in terms of like what he brings and all that stuff
I watch as many games as they let me watch on
Okay.
YouTube. So I watched them all.
Okay. All right. So from what you're seeing in
Brian
your
ready for
eyes,
Tannehill to
by the
go.
way, by the
I
way,
watched everyone.
shameless plug. This is the Chop That podcast, right? I did do a film breakdown on Malik Willis, man. So y'all go ahead and check that out.
Oh, I'm
Again,
gonna
if you
check that
haven't done
out,
that,
bro. I ain't know you
go
did
ahead
one on
check.
Malik.
Yeah, I did. That was one of my first things I did before we found the quarterback in Carson Wentz. So Malik Willis did a film breakdown. I'll send it to y'all in the chat. But yes, I said to say, I asked you that question to say, when it comes to Malik, what is the least that you think that Tennessee will give Ryan Tannehill? It's like, is his days numbered, or is this something where it's like we're not even worried about Malik this year unless Tannehill like completely shits the bed?
I would completely agree with that. Unless Tannehill really comes out, and I don't think his leash is going to be as short as some people may think. I think regardless, as long as Tannehill is not out there throwing consecutive interceptions, and as long as we win, I don't think we're going to bench Tannehill. And I still think we still have a good enough team aside of Tannehill to win ball games. So unless we start losing or Tannehill gets injured, then I don't think we're going to see Malik Willis this year. Now, granted, would I like to see Malik Willis at some point this year? Sure. I'd be lying if I didn't say that, but I don't think Tannehill is on a short leash.
Okay. Fellas, before RJ get in here, man, we got a couple topics to talk about. We can start with one and see where this goes. The AJ Brown trade. Now, I was on the move all day Thursday because Rick knew, because Rick checked in for a second, talk about my greasy face on the live stream.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna send y'all the screenshot, bro. Your boy was looking vicious.
Screenshot, bro?
Hell yeah, I screenshotted that shit, boy. You thought I was supposed to go screenshot it? Fuck yeah. I got that bitch loaded, boy. Mual was on that joint looking like a wax figure, boy. I had to text my man real quick. I said, hey, Mual, bro, you might want to go ahead and throw that paper towel up there, player.
Hey, bro, I ain't had shit, bro.
But he was doing his thing, though.
Nothing, bro. But I had no idea what was going on in the first round, bro. I didn't know AJ Brown got traded until like I found out through you all. But one of the conversations that we need to have is what are we thinking about that AJ Brown trade, him moving to the NFC East?
Hold on, were you gonna talk about the Tannehill comments or not?
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, you know what, right? That's a good point. Let me go ahead and add RJ in this thing right now. And then you get your point off with the
RJ, what's up, man?
How goes it? I didn't know we were gonna be on the move.
Yeah,
the one and only.
We can circle back to the AJ Brown thing. So go ahead, get your thoughts off with the Tannehill comments, man. Because I personally, I'll say this one thing right now. I didn't have no issue with Ryan Tannehill saying that. I think the people that were having an issue with it was probably a little too sensitive. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm on Mual's side with that one.
Honestly, to be honest, I didn't have a problem with what he said either. But I mean, did he need to say it? Was the question. I don't think he needed to say it. I mean, it wasn't. I don't think he necessarily had to say what he said. But it's like he said, bro. He's competing for the same job that he's starting for. So I'm not mad at the competitive nature. I mean, if anything, I would carry the same mantra. But I think people kind of blew it out of proportion, and it's not that big of a deal if you ask me. I think Big Ben, they said earlier that Big Ben had said the same thing about Mason Rudolph when he joined the team. So I'm not really stressing off of Tannehill saying that. I just think it was unnecessary, especially from an incoming rookie. He ain't had to say that, but that's how I felt about it.
Okay. All right. So
I feel like it was one of those indirect big ups, bro.
You said big ups?
Clearly shows he nervous though, for sure.
I know it's a little lag, Rick. What was you saying? You said big ups. That's what you thought it was?
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I think it was like one of those indirect big ups, man. Like I think he was more so saying along the lines of like I don't like he doesn't need a mentor. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how I took it. It was like I don't have to mentor him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now he could have been shady with it. Who knows? But me just hearing it come out his mouth, I'm just like, okay, he don't need a mentor. You know what I'm saying? Like he understands how to be a professional, and you know what I'm saying. We on the field and we working. And I mean, I feel like it's kind of like one of those things that's understood doesn't need to be explained. Like, you know, we already know he's going to be trying to pick up tips from me and doing this and doing that. I don't need to. I guess to Ryan's point, he may have not needed to verbally come out and be like he don't need a mentor, but I don't know. I think it was a compliment, kind of, sort of, if you kind of follow where I'm going.
I'm following. I disagree, but I'm following. I disagree in the sense that I feel like he wasn't given a compliment, but I do think that Ryan was on point. Ryan Tannehill. I feel like he was on point with understanding what his role was. A lot of people get confused, man, and like
Yeah,
trying to
you're
figure out
right.
like what it takes and what it means to be a number one quarterback, the starting quarterback for a franchise. And at the end of the day, bro, business is business. And when it comes to business, it's all about winning games, bro. Like if you're under pressure and you know you're not like a bona fide starting quarterback, I don't think you have to worry about mentoring anybody. You have to worry about saving your goddamn job. I mean, sure, if you can multitask, that's one thing. But talking about like mentoring somebody, bruh, I don't think it's a big deal in the sense that you have to go out there and say and show your support for Malik Willis. Like I don't think he said anything disrespectful. I just think that this was a public example of somebody saying, "Look, bruh, we just not all on the same page when it comes to mentorship. Like, sure, I don't have and I'm not putting words in Tannehill's mouth, but I'm saying, like, sure, he probably doesn't have a problem mentoring somebody, but when you're in the position that you're in and you have to focus on saving your job and saving your career and being a franchise quarterback and starting quarterback for Tennessee Titans, why do I have to focus on Malik Willis? I need to focus on myself. I need to worry about winning games. And there's going to be an opportunity that Malik Willis will learn some things from me. But in the meantime, let me get these dubs because that's all this team
100%.
cares about. That's all this
That's
team
facts. I
cares
didn't even
about.
look at it like I
Yes,
ain't looking at it like
For
RJ,
that.
real.
welcome to the show. For those who are listening and are not watching, RJ just checked in again, blogging the boys, SB Nation, covering the Dallas Cowboys, and the host of his own podcast, The Ocho and SB Nation NFL Show. RJ, man, it's been a minute, man. Last time we talked, you talked some little trash about the Washington Commanders and the Dallas Cowboys backed it up. You know, they whooped the football team.
Tell them
They
about
whooped
their
the
stuff,
football team.
RJ.
You know
Well,
what I'm
Yeah,
saying? They
yeah.
whooped them. You know
I'm
what I'm
not.
saying? They put a little 50 burger on us, bro. And I don't appreciate that, but it is what it is. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling great. It's great to be with you guys. You all look fantastic. I like what you've done with the place. The commander stripe that the franchise stole from the challenge on MTV looks really strong and prominent.
Jesus.
But yeah, I mean, it's not every Sunday night game that you lose in embarrassing fashion to a division
Oh
rival and your
wow, let
team
it go, RJ.
fights on the
Yo,
bench. The same benches that they stole unoriginally.
That they
Oh
Um,
stole.
Lord.
Yep.
it's I'm
RJ had 3 haymakers off the bat. I wasn't even expecting it. Like I'm
well,
already on the
I didn't even
campus.
mention that Terrence Steele caught a touchdown in that
I'm on
game.
the campus.
So it
He
was
did.
oh my God.
but if it's any consolation prize, that was the last moment it was good for the Cowboys last season. It all kind of,
Facts.
unraveled after that slowly but
Thank
surely.
God. I was celebrating when y'all lost. I ain't gonna lie
Facts.
to you. I felt
I
good.
know that's the thing. The NFC East is the Dallas Cowboys and three teams who the Dallas Cowboys are in the heads of. Like that's what it
Oh
is.
Lord. Well, not anymore. And we're gonna talk about the Eagles in a little bit, man. But with RJ in the building, I saved the conversation for Dallas with Rick and Nick for RJ to have the conversation with these guys. Fellas, the floor is yours. I'll start with RJ. What do you make about your off season? You can take it anywhere you want, but also the draft that you all had this past weekend. The floor is yours. Take it whichever way you want to go. And Rick, Nick, the conversation belongs to you all.
I will say, so I'm sure you're all well aware the NFC East hasn't had a repeat winner since 2004. Washington's won the division twice in that stretch, and both times were because the Cowboys quarterback suffered a season-ending injury. So they're really kind of Mickey Mouse titles, if we're being honest with ourselves. But anyway,
That's fair.
so the Cowboys are fighting that history. Like, do I think that has anything to do with this offseason? No, but I mean, it's hard to ignore. The Cowboys as a team have not been to the playoffs in back-to-back years since 2006 and 2007. I think people forget about the 2006 Washington team, by the way, that made the playoffs. That was a solid squad. And the Cowboys have not won at least 10 games in back-to-back seasons since 1995 and 1996. Generally speaking, after they have had some levels of success, and I know like all the memes, like believe me, like get behind me in line to trash them for the way last season ended. Um, but it was a level of success, right? Like you win your division, it was a successful year. It was for most franchises, it would be regarded as like the first step in the right direction. But it's so hard to buy into that with this team because of their history. And do I think the way the 2008 Cowboys fell apart has anything to do with this team? No. Do I think the 2010 team or the 2015 team or the 2017 team or 2019? No. But again, this is a franchise whose culture kind of breeds arrogance and them kind of buying into themselves, kind of smelling themselves. And I think we saw that. I think we saw that throughout the course of last season. I think the Cowboys obviously, listened to the Trap or Die podcast and heard me gassing them up and got punched in the mouth by the 49ers. And they're not a rough and tough team. They're a soft team, right? Like that's fair to say. Like, let's be honest, they were a soft team that could not handle a rough and tough squad in San Francisco, and they were exposed. And then not only were they exposed as a football team, but they were exposed in the aftermath, whining and complaining about officiating and referees. In the entire time that Dak Prescott has been the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, he has never said a single thing that was not perfect. And Dak, I mean, I'm sure you guys all talked about it, but encouraging the fans throwing trash and garbage at officials, it was a really
That
low
was
moment.
crazy.
Really, really low moment. And I don't know how much of this, you guys are aware of, but I would say that the sector of Cowboys fans that are conversational and online and listen to podcasts and things like that are really really down on this team, and it's a collection of all those things, right? It's a collection of the franchise's inability to have long-term success, their inability to have sustained success, how soft they were at the end of this last season, how much they complained, and then when you factor in the fact that they didn't really do anything in free agency. They only lost players. They had the Randy Gregory thing blow up in their face. And again, like those are things that, and I'm sure you guys have been in that boat and you say things like this only happens to us. And I think every fan base goes through that. But the
For
Randy Gregory
sure.
thing is like this would only happen to the Cowboys. Jerry Jones flashing the team's, board, after the first
Yeah,
night of the
Jerry was
draft
wilding, bro.
would only happen to the. I mean, we were, one of our writers was part of the group that kind of decoded that. That is literally the third time that Blogging the Boys has had a hand in decoding a Dallas Cowboys draft board just in the last 10 years. And we're just a blog and fans, like that's amazing when you really think about it. And so the draft, I mean, I obviously understand, and I know Washington didn't get great grades as well. I did like the trade back in the first round for what it's worth. But I mean, it was an underwhelming draft. I think, especially when you factor in everything I've said, and that this team loves to say, we don't believe in free agency. We don't want to overspin. We believe in the draft. Okay, you want to say that? You want to walk that walk? Or you want to talk that talk? You better walk that walk. You better go have a draft like the Ravens did, like the Eagles did, like the Jets did, so that we can sit here and we can say, you know what? You wrote that check and you cashed it. We're here. We're holding this L. Way to go, Big Daddy Stephen Jones. And it does not look that way. Their draft doesn't line up with the idea that, again, I'm sure you guys have talked about this, and I know I'm rambling. The entire NFC is there for the taking, right? Like you would think that the Cowboys, who were this team who were so close last year, that they would sense and smell this opportunity to, if not now, win. But it seems like they have purposefully, intentionally tore down their roster to a degree. And I don't know how much chatter this you guys hear, but every Cowboys fan in the back of their minds thinks that they're waiting for Sean Payton next year, and it's kind of difficult. I never ever buy into conspiracy theories, but they are doing so many things that make it difficult to say that that is a stupid idea. It actually makes some logical sense that they're tearing this team down so that Sean can take over next year and they can get the coach they always wanted.
I'll just lay that
Uh,
out for y'all. That's
I'm
Yeah,
about to
news
say
for
I
your
Nick.
was
ass.
Oh, there you go, Nick. That's what I'm saying.
biggest
Go
breakdown
ahead.
I ever
That's
heard,
news for
man.
your ass, boy. What you gonna do
Um,
with all that?
Nah, I don't even know, bro. That's kind of how I feel though about my own mob. I don't know. I don't know what is going on in that room. I don't know what's going on in the star, but they're more so in love with the process of just going through the season than actually being good, bro. I'm like, it, it it I don't know what Jerry is doing, and he's like, "Oh, I wanted a Super Bowl bad," but you can say that, but your actions don't match to what you're trying to say. All these teams are getting better by trading their draft picks and getting automatic stars and winning the Super Bowl, but you're just trading away Mark Cooper, let go Randy Gregory, and I'm actually cool with letting go Gregory because he kind of
They didn't
costed
let
us.
Gregory go. They didn't
I,
let
I'm
him go.
well, I mean, he one line in his contract and changed his mind. But I'm cool with I'm kind of cool with letting him go because at the end of games he kind of does dumb stuff that gives teams first downs, and then you know what I'm saying. So like getting rid of him, I'm not too ashamed of that.
Nick,
Amari,
that was one game, Nick.
it's been more, yeah,
I mean,
and when it
yeah, but
matters in
like
the playoffs.
even
That was
even if it was every game, even if it was, it still blew up in their face, and like they really think that we're dumb, right? Like they really think like, oh no, this was part of the master plan, right? Like we purposefully bailed on Randy so that we could sign Dorrance Armstrong and Leighton Vander Esch. This worked out, like this is a great situation for us. Y'all are wrong. That's the other thing, like, and I didn't mean to hijack your
It's
point,
like a
Nick, but
sense of
like,
arrogance is where you're getting at. Like,
well,
Yeah,
you
the
know,
soap
and
opera.
like, and Leighton is a great example of that. Do I hate Leighton Vander Esch? No, I don't hate anybody here. But like, the day Leighton, I get accused a lot, like on Twitter, of like being a hater and just like hating on the Cowboys and blah blah blah, whatever. They
Well,
can't
that's
do anything
Twitter.
right.
Yeah, nobody
Um,
agree.
and when Leighton Vander Esch re-signed with the Cowboys, it was a 1-year deal for $3 million. They did not pick up his fifth-year option a year ago. So that day I tweeted out something like, well, if the Cowboys had picked up his fifth-year option a year ago, he'd be on the books for $9 million. Obviously, now he's on the books for $3 million. And I got all these responses from all these homers that are like, see, they did something right. Like, are you going to give him credit? It's like, what do you mean they did something right? Like, they didn't pick it up because he sucked, and then he sucked again, so they were able to get him back for cheaper. Like, the price point is reflective of the talent. They didn't, like, get one over on Leighton. So I would love, Nick, to, like, I'm sure you agree, I would love to sit here and be like, Cowboys won the Super Bowl. I would love to, like, just bathe in the Kool-Aid. I would love to be, like, all the way Homer, but they make it so difficult.
Yeah, no, Cowboys
yeah,
not
Jerry
winning.
has a way.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
No, go ahead, Nick. Do your thing. Keep going,
No,
baby.
I was going to say
I was just
Cowboys not winning Super Bowl until somebody else takes over. Jerry would literally have to be like on his hospital bed before they win the Super Bowl. And it's sad to say that, but
What is
it's
Nick talking about?
he would have to like be in no control if anything in that locker room.
okay.
Um,
So let me ask you all, and Rick, you got the first stab at this. So based on what I'm hearing from Nick, are we saying that Jerry? Because I don't know. I'm asking you all. You know, what I'm saying I stay away on Commanders talk. I'm away from it. It's all y'all. Are we saying that Jerry is essentially like he's and
the
for lack of a
problem,
better term, he's in the way. Like he's
yeah,
literally just in the
Oh
way.
for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
they
Like
definitely feel like that.
30 years, bro,
okay,
in
because
a way.
I know about
I,
Stephen Jones, I know about his impact, and I know about Jerry Jones, and I know about like his presence, right? I know about Stephen Jones' impact, but I know about Jerry Jones' presence. I don't know like how much of his presence in Jerry Jones is getting in the way of actual football operations. So that's why I'm asking that question.
I mean, bro, he the big dog, bro, and he got his hand in. He micromanaging everybody. You know what I'm saying? You can't be the big dog and try to do everything at the same time. You gotta do your role. And you hire people for them to play the positions that they're supposed to play. If your head coach, he needs the head coach. Your offensive coordinator needs to be the offensive coordinator. Will McClay needs to find the talent. Everybody has a role. And to Nick's point, Nick was saying he don't think we're gonna get a Super Bowl, right? Now things have looked a little shaky.
Need your
Oh,
mic
bro, I'm
up a
about
little
to
bit.
say,
You
bro,
stepped out
Yeah,
the
what you
come
car.
on.
doing,
Stepped
bro?
out the
What you
car and
doing,
shit. You
Rick?
know what I'm saying?
Rick just lost all audio. What are you doing, bro?
It's not going to change your audio, Rick. Looking at
Go
us.
ahead, Nick, till he get
Did
back.
you
Unless
see
he
it?
good. Hold on. Nigga should have stayed in the car for like 2 seconds.
Bro, he
Yeah, he
hopped out
should
like he
definitely
was
should stay in the
regular.
car. All
You
right,
should have
I don't
talked.
know. I don't know.
Take
Go ahead,
over,
Nick, till he
Nick.
get back.
Mute your mic, Rick.
Yeah,
We want to hear
mute
you say
yourself,
what you're
Rick. Mute
saying,
yourself,
bro.
Rick. I honestly think
In your
Jerry
lead,
picks
bro.
he picks and chooses the wrong people to hold on to. as weird as it says, people like Anthony Brown. Y'all know I don't like him. He's still no. I'm circling around to it. And he's not bad. He's not bad. You know who he reminds me of? Brandon Carr. Brandon Carr wasn't bad until
Brandon
third
Carr is
down.
better than Anthony Brown. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
but
I
no, Brandon
that's
Carr.
a
Go ahead.
I think that's mean to both Anthony Brown and Brandon Carr. That's not the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no. Yeah,
you
Nah,
know,
come on.
that's just one problem out there. That's just one
That's
problem. But
disrespectful, Brandon Carr.
my
Brandon
thing
Carr is
was
better than that.
Brandon Carr was a good cornerback first and second down. It would be like the wildest clutch 3rd and 17 where Brandon Carr would give something up. And Anthony Brown is kind of the same way. In a clutch moment, he kind of falls short. And that doesn't, I mean, it sucks to be like, oh, Jed, 3% of the game, you're not that good. But like, that's the biggest 3% we need you at right now. And they're going to your side because the other guy is getting 11 picks a year. So that's my only thing on Anthony Brown. But I'm not a big fan of Kellen Moore, only because he is a product of Jason Garrett. He's just a younger Jason Garrett because that's who we learned under. So go ahead,
you
RJ.
know, on the Kellen thing, and I've been thinking about writing something about this, but I mean, I don't know like what I would do, so like I'll just like kind of ramble on it. Go listen to any of their draft press conferences, and whenever they talk about the defensive side of the ball, it's oh yeah, well you know Dan Quinn's involved, Dan Quinn this, Dan Quinn, like respect, cool, like he's an awesome defensive coordinator, like you want him around, so like it makes sense that you would want to make that dude happy. They never mention Kellen's name. When they're talking about the offensive side of the ball, when Jalen Tolbert, their third round wide receiver at South Alabama, it's never, oh yeah, Kellen Moore, we you know this and that, whatever. Like I mean, they legitimately treat Dan like a co-coach. You know what I mean? Where Kellen is just like a dude on the staff, and that's like the problem. I mean, and like you know, some of those things are unique, and some of those things happen like in different NFL teams, like different structures or whatever. But it's a mess. And I think, to the original point, I guess, I think it's so unfair to just blame Jerry. Like there's more than enough blame to go around. Like, and I don't at all mean to make up for like Dan Snyder, but like I would posit it's not all just Dan Snyder's fault. Like I don't think Jason Wright gets enough criticism, for what's going on with the Commanders and things like the PR side of things and like the awful rollouts they've had in the last year and things like that. So like, yeah, Jerry has his fair share of the mess. I think Steven has his fair share of the mess. I think Mike McCarthy is maybe the like biggest victim here. I mean, think about it. You're Mike McCarthy, and everyone's like making memes of you. Like, people dog on him because he doesn't look like Sean McVay, and whatever. And it's like a make or break year for McCarthy, and like his career's on the line. Like after this, Mike McCarthy's not getting a third team to coach, despite the fact that he has a Super Bowl ring. And so, hey, McCarthy, your career's on the line. This
Somebody
dude
might.
who we have flirted with for 15 years, Sean Payton, is waiting in the wind. We're going to trade away Amari Cooper. We're going to cut Lyle Collins. We're going to give you this dude to play left guard who had 1,000
This dude.
penalties last year. Like it's kind of dumb. I mean, it's like, and that's the thing. Like the Jerry showing the draft board is an example. Last week, on Saturday, after the draft is over, they're having
Jerry
their
is
press
wild,
conference.
man.
And Stephen Jones, they were asked about not drafting a running back. And Stephen Jones said, we thought about it. We considered it. That's all you got to say, Stephen. Then shut up. Don't keep talking. But instead,
Jerry
Stephen says,
said,
we're always building the team. Next year, Tony Pollard's free. Zeke's making a lot of money. Steven, what are you doing talking about Zeke's money? Like, we're all thinking that, Steven. We all agree with you, but it is a bad idea to float that out. I'm sure y'all saw the taco line that Jerry had last week.
"What's up with that, RJ, bro? Why would he say that, bro?
Well, help
So
help me
Why would
because
he say that, bro?
as
Like
you all
Taco,
know,
like
like
like like Taco
I've
night
been
still.
I haven't
What
really
you?
been locked into the draft talk.
so
I've
what
been pretty
happened
busy on my
was
side, so help me out.
in the Cowboys pre-draft press
You
conference,
crazy for that, man.
they were talking about things they do, who's in charge, whatever, and Jerry made a joke and said that Stephen Jones made the Taco Charlton pick 5 years ago, and that Jerry made the Micah
The Micah
Parsons pick.
Parsons pick.
Yeah, again, like a joke, like he made the pick for the guy that sucked.
Oh,
I made the
Steve, bro,
pick
he
for the guy who's
wild.
awesome.
He
It's
is
a funny
wild.
it's a funny joke, right? Like we can all identify, haha, Taco sucks, haha, Micah's awesome. But dude, Jerry, that dude's still in the NFL. Like that
That's what
dude
we
still
talking about, man.
that dude still has a lot of friends on your team. And I tweeted out and I took some heat for that. I thought that was really inappropriate from Jerry.
That's
And like,
low, bro. That
you
was
know,
low.
maybe like my wife and I had a baby in November. Like maybe I'm just old now. Like maybe I'm like falling out of like touch and like now I'm offended by things, but I wasn't offended, but I thought that was low. I thought it was lame. And are we all
He's
thinking it
older. You're
again? Like,
absolutely right.
No,
no, but like,
You're on the
Yeah.
right
is it?
side.
It's something that
I
we
said
all
I
know.
said
We
the
all
same thing to
understand
Nick.
Taco was a bust, but you're the brilliant front office that picked him. You know, like he's still in the NFL. Like it's so stupid. And the same Cowboys fans, and I'm sure y'all have seen people complain that like nothing ever changes, blah blah blah. The ones that love to get their tweets off that everything sucks, they're the same ones that were laughing at the joke last week. When that's the problem, Jerry just wants to like charm his way out of every situation, and he gets away with it more often than not. But it's like, why do you have to say this Taco line? Why do you have to show the draft board after the first round? Why, Steven, do you have to come out of the post-draft press conference and say Zeke's making a lot of money? None of these things help the team. Are they the biggest steals in terms of hurting your team? No, but they're not good ideas. I mean, do you think, like, I don't know, even Joe Shane in New York's doing this kind of stupid stuff? No, because he's a competent general manager.
So let me ask you this question, man. Let me get Rick back in here for 1 second. There we go. All right, so RJ, I understand the frustrations clearly from the front office side, man. But let's talk about this draft for a second. Let's see how the Dallas Cowboys actually played their hand and played their card in the NFL draft this past weekend. Clearly, the goal is to get better. So I'm not going to ask you, did you get better? I'm going to say, how much better did the Dallas Cowboys get in this draft, from your opinion? I know Nick, on his side, he did not like that first-round pick, given what he brings to the table. But I'll leave the floor open for everybody to have this conversation. Rick, Nick, RJ, and Ryan, if you have something to say about Dallas. But RJ,
No, I just
what do you
want
think
RJ to
about
talk
this
about
draft?
if after you get your opinion, if you felt like y'all should have took the center from
Iowa.
Well, there you go.
Yes, I certainly think so. I mean, and everybody loves to be like, oh, well, their board didn't have him on. Well, then their board sucks. Like every other board in the world had him up there, except, and I like teams evaluate for their team, and I understand that, but I mean, how much better did they get? Like, I don't think you can just look at the draft. Like, you have to look at their offseason as a whole. Their first three picks were guard, defensive end, wide receiver. Is Tyler Smith better than Connor Williams? No. Is today, like, right? Like, we're talking about the
I'm about to
2022 team
say,
versus
we don't know
2021.
yet.
Yeah, but like again, today he's not. Is Sam Williams told us at Blogging the Boys, we had him on our show, he wants to go by D Williams. Is he better than Randy Gregory? No. I know, Nick, you're not a fan, but still, I mean, not today. Is Jalen Tolbert better than Amari Cooper? No, he's not. I mean, so yeah, and not only
Hell
that,
no.
I mean, I did not like the Washington draft, but New York had a great draft, at least at the top. Philadelphia had a great draft. So like, you kind of weakened your roster this entire offseason, and two of your three division rivals got a lot better, and the other one traded for Carson Wentz. So I mean, it's you're purposefully closing the gap yourselves. I don't think they sweep the division this year because they can't. They're just banking on that, and that's a dumb idea.
Yeah, it's not gonna be sweet. I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
I
It ain't gonna be sweet.
don't think our division is gonna be sweet either. It kind of just depends on, honestly, Jalen Hurts and is Daniel Jones still quarterbacking over it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Daniel
bro.
Jones,
Come on.
Tyrod the backup, so odds
Wait.
are
Oh,
Daniel
definitely
Jones
don't got to worry
will
about
fall.
him. He averaged like
Yeah, you ain't gotta worry about Tyrod.
15 points a game, so we good on that. I draft. I slept on a couple nights. It's not as bad. It could have been better, obviously. I just feel like Tyler Smith, I think he will be decent at guard because he doesn't have to do that much moving, that much ranging, so he doesn't have to worry about he has to be a mauler. Get to the second
Yeah,
level, be a
but
mauler.
what about the 5 games Tyron misses this
So
year?
that's what I was. That was my next question, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
So when that happens, because I know it's gonna happen, you're gonna have to grow a pair, bro.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. When I look at first rounds, bro, I look at somebody who you can get and they could get on the field like tomorrow, right?
He can play guard tomorrow, though.
I get that, right? But I think the reason why we were really going at O-lineman because we had a lot of possibilities that was on our offensive line, right? We got Connor Williams who was there. Our center was mediocre, right? Our right guard, I mean, all pro. And I mean, our right tackle, we may not like him, but he gets the job done. But Tyron is expected to maybe miss 3 to 4 games, and I feel like that could hinder that our first round pick, and we're trying to mold him to be a guard, but then Tyron goes down, and now we expect him to kick him out. I feel like that hinders him in the long haul, right? If he's going to play guard, we need him to play guard, but if he's going to play left tackle, then we need him out there. And to that point, why I feel like our first round pick wasn't so strong. It made me think that I think we had overall grade of like a C+, bro. C+, a B if it pans out, right? A B if it pans out. I think we got a good steal and one of the linebackers that we picked up, the guy from LSU, but that's a year from now, right? The left tackle, we don't know who he's going to be like this year. Who else did we get? You said D, right? I think you mentioned that on your podcast.
Yeah,
he likes to be called D.
Sam Williams. He didn't get no nickname, bro. No,
I feel that. I definitely feel that, man. But we got a lot of players, bro. I think that we're just hoping that they turn out to be good. Now, and it's a boomer bust draft, honestly.
But to that point, man, I mean, like it's all hope, right? Like their entire strategy is based off of hope. And like their entire strategy is like, well, Micah will save us on defense. Maybe, right? But like, what if he doesn't? Like, I mean, I don't have to tell y'all this. If there is no data in NFL history to suggest that elite defenses don't drop off the following year. A year ago, right? Like the conversation was, oh man, all Ryan Fitzpatrick has to do is just kind of keep the ship afloat because the Washington defense is going to be awesome, going to be balling, whatever.
Yep,
this and that.
100%.
And they regressed a lot farther than I think most elite defenses tend to do, which is I think good news for the Washington defense this year. But like Dallas will regress to the mean. Micah won't have 1 million sacks. Trayvon Diggs won't have 1 million interceptions. So like all those things, that went their way last year are not going to. And you didn't get it done then. So, like, when you're worse on defense, kind of like classic good Cowboys, at least in the 21st century, like, how is it going to be enough now? It's just, it's a really, really poor strategy. When you look at everything they're not, I guess my entire, like, kind of main criticism is they're not able to read the room as far as the rest of the league. They're not able to identify trends and things that are happening. And I think the best example of that is what happened with Amari Cooper. You want to trade Amari Cooper? Fine. You think he's making a lot of money? Fine. I disagree with that, but okay, you've made up your mind. Let's get the proper value for him. And everybody loves to say, like, well, nobody was, going to pay anything for him. So all they could really get was what they got, the 5th round pick. Yeah, nobody's going to pay anything because you blabbed about it the whole time. You told the whole world that you were going to cut him. And when you look, and their whole complaint was that Amari was making too much money at $20 million a year. $20 million a year for a number one wide receiver now, 2 months later, is like pennies because the wide receiver market exploded and they were not able to properly anticipate that with what was going to happen with Devontae Adams, with Tyreek Hill. Obviously, the Christian Kirk thing, I think, surprised everybody. But they had no clue about the way that was going to happen. They also had no clue about the way quarterback contracts work. They waited and dragged their feet when it came to paying Dak Prescott. They're not able to look at the curve and be a part of it. They're always like 3 steps behind the rest of the NFL.
Jerry and Catboy has a very good way, bro, of doing this much and reinstalling hope in the fan system, bro. Every single year, bro. Every single year.
It reminds me of like, when you're like in middle school or high school or something and like, somebody has like the cool shoes or whatever, like the cool phone or something like that. My dog's outside the office, all pissed off. He has to hear this every day. And so like you're like waiting. And by the time you finally get the shoes or the phone or the game or whatever it is that like everyone had, the fad is gone. Everyone's like on to something else, and you're like, guys, no, like Titanfall. This game's cool. Like let's play this game. and it's not anymore. Everybody.
I played a game in a while. That used to be my game, yo.
Absolutely.
I feel you, man.
So one quick thing before we get up out of here, man. It's a whole NFC East topic, and it's related to Ryan. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, brother. I am sorry, but we got to get our quick opinions on AJ Brown moving to the NFC East, man. Are we threatened at all by the AJ Brown and Philadelphia Eagles thing? Is this something that we need to pay attention to? Because I personally think that it's funny that what's his name, Jalen Hurts was kind of the catalyst to this trade, and at the end of the day, the Philadelphia Eagles are grateful for his pitch to bring AJ Brown to Philly, but I still don't think they're looking at him as a QB1 for the future. I think he's still on the trial period. Anybody can take a stab at this.
Yeah, I'll say this. AJ Brown might be in the media after a couple games. That's all I'm gonna say. I just don't see Jalen really taking that big of a leap. I mean, because this is my thing. Devontae is wide open half the season. Still ain't give him the ball. So if he, I mean, just because you got two wide open people, to mean you're gonna give him the ball. You got to figure out which one you're gonna get him to. So Jalen Hurts, I really want to see what he does, and I guess it's all up to the OC to make it easier for him. But if he keep taking off like that, he can be taken off the free agency. So we'll see what happens to the boy. But AJ, I don't see him making really a big impact until possibly the following year.
Okay. All right,
On one
fellas.
hand, I think it's, I respect the ability to identify what you want, go after it, get it done, get the contract done. Like, you don't have, like, I love how quick, dry, and easy things are with the Eagles. And I love that, like, they're able to do that because of all the draft picks. The Eagles, that's such an annoying thing about the Eagles, like how he always has multiple draft picks to play with. So I love that. Like, I love that it keeps them loose. They are obviously already have two for next year as well. I think that not enough has been made about the fact that they had to pay for him, right? Like, if they draft Traylon Burks like the Titans did, like, you've got that dude, like, that's the like coveted thing now, right? Is a wide receiver, not just a quarterback, but a wide receiver on a rookie contract. So you burn that, now paying AJ Brown. But and fine, he's an elite receiver, but AJ wanted to leave Tennessee. Why? Because they ran the ball a billion times. Have you seen the Eagles, AJ? Like, do
Exactly.
you know how they play
Mm-hmm.
football? And yeah, I mean, I don't know that Jalen is enough. I agree with you though, dude. I mean, that if so, you're telling me, Eagles, the one thing that AJ likes about your team is the quarterback that you are not at all committed to. So
Yeah.
what's gonna happen when you want to move on from Jalen? Like, AJ's gonna be like, no, that's my boy. Like, you're gonna be in Jimmy Garoppolo mode, the way the Niners are, where everybody loves him, and you're gonna be stuck. So if this helps reinforce Jalen Hurts as the long-term quarterback of the future for Philadelphia, then I like the move.
Rick, what you got on this?
Man, I think Jalen hasn't played his best ball, man, but I'm all for
I think he has. No, I'm sorry, not
rehydrating.
to cut you off, dude.
Mhm,
I think he
mhm.
has played his best ball. I think his like peak is behind him.
Okay. Well, I guess I can agree with that point as well, because I don't know if I'm going to see Jalen Hurts play better than he has, right? I don't know if he's going to be able to do that, but I'm always, I love my receivers, man. And I believe that receivers make quarterbacks better. So you had a rookie last year who was the number one option on your offense, and now you have AJ Brown, who is going to be the number one, who's expected to be the number one on that team, right? He wasn't the number one in Tennessee. Derrick Henry was. You know what I'm saying? And Miles Sanders is not the number one. It's AJ Brown. So if they're able to get that offense to move around him, man, and get what's the boy's name? Is it something Smith? What's his name? The other receiver? Devontae Smith, yeah, and able to get him some free looks too, man. I think they might be able to do something this year, man. But it's definitely going to come down to Jalen Hurts playing his prior peak ball, and and doing what they need to do to win 2 games in the playoffs and not 1. Because I think if they win 1 game, I think if they lose that first game again, he's definitely gone, and then they're gonna have more questions to answer. Because then, like RJ said, you're gonna have to figure out what's going on with AJ now. So. Yeah.
Okay. All right. RJ, man, I appreciate you checking in with us. It's always a pleasure when you check in, man. And
My guy.
tap in with the Trapper.
Oh yeah, I got one
podcast,
question for
talk a
RJ
little
before you leave,
Dallas.
man. Too.
All right, let's get that question out the way, and then we
Hey,
close
look,
out.
I didn't have no service, man, so I couldn't ask you, man. But I heard you mention it. The 49ers game last year when you watched the game, and I tell everybody this when I watched it, bro. I swear, as soon I knew we were losing that game before the game started, and I was watching Garoppolo, Debo, and it was somebody else walk out the locker room, and then they showed Dallas come out the locker room, and at that moment I saw us, and I was like, we're not prepared for this game, and then we came out and we laid an egg.
Shout out to Kodak.
Can I just hear you, like, I just want to hear you talk about that. I couldn't really hear it, but that's what I was at with it.
So my son's first game at home with us was the Eagles game, the Week 18 game. But it didn't count, right? Like, it was inconsequential. Like, Dallas didn't play their, they kind of like, they played for records and Philly didn't play their starters. So it was cool. It's like, hey, dude, welcome to the world, welcome to the house.
Right.
Like, this is life. So his first like real game was that one, and I will never forgive them for that. But dude, it is so like I said earlier, like, there are some things that would only happen to the Cowboys. It was as if there's a lot of people who love to say like, oh, there's a curse, like the Jimmy Johnson curse, blah, blah, whatever, this and that, whatever. Like the year Jimmy goes into the Hall of Fame, by the way, the team that like the mighty dragon that Jimmy slayed is the one that comes to Jerry's house in their like bright red uniforms with the swagger and confidence that they don't have, with the quarterback from Eastern Illinois that now has he has half as many playoff wins in that building as Tony Romo did, with one. And they out physical them. They just beat up on him. They broke the Cowboys. Like they literally broke their spirit to the point that they were pointing fingers and complaining. And I cannot believe that we still are not talking about the way that game ended. And the fact that they defended that as much as they did, like that will forever bother me, that they cannot just admit, you know what, we tried to do something, it blew up in our faces. Like that happens, and like we have to wear this L, but they won't do that because they're too arrogant, they're too narcissistic about it. But the fact that it was that team, and if you remember in week 18, the Rams lost to them, which set Dallas up to be the 3 seed. And everybody celebrated. Everybody said, "Oh yeah, we get Jimmy Garoppolo. We get these guys."
That's what I said. I was
blah,
saying
blah.
that too.
And I love that Debo. There was the sound like, "Give me the ball," and then he just runs all over them. Like I mean, they were not ready for that. They were not ready for that style of play. They were not ready for somebody who was that hungry, and they were exposed. I mean, like they were exposed as frauds. Like that's who they are. They are frauds, and they live. I do a show with Tony Casillas. On our podcast network. He won 2 Super Bowls with the Cowboys in the 90s. And the other day, DeMarcus Lawrence shared a photo of Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin after the Cowboys won Super Bowl 30. And I was talking to Tony about that. And he said, you know what? I'm tired of these dudes sharing our photos. Like, go get your own photos. Like, and like, man, like that's the thing. Like, and they want to act like, oh, we're the big bad Cowboys. You are nothing, man. Like, I hate this. It bothers me so much that I can't be obnoxious and support them and annoy people with it. But they have given us no reason. They made a lot of Cowboys fans look really stupid for 100%. Believing in them last year.
I was one of them. I was one of the stupid ones.
I believe in Micah Parsons. I believe in Dak Prescott. Outside of that, it's tough right now.
It's about right. It's about right. I actually like I like the right side of our offensive line. Zach and I actually like.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm talking about like players whose jerseys we buy. Like that's
not about to buy 72.
Hey, look, man, I watched a lot of interviews from last year, man, and after every loss, man, like I said, they always were saying we got out physical. They were more aggressive. No,
they were always blaming.
That's all
refs.
They were saying. They
blamed refs at every. They blamed refs when they lost to the Cardinals. Think about it. The Cardinals like pooped all over themselves over the second half of last season. They lost 4 of their final 5 games. The one win was against the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm telling you. Go ahead, Marley G.
All right, man. So
it's
listen,
coaching though, too.
I just want y'all to know that I'm happy that y'all are out here right now getting it off your chest on Trap or Dive, man. Because I love the or the sense of miserable.
Here it go, look.
Misery. Look, hey, the cup is empty.
Yeah, Marley G.
Listen, I love the sense of misery on this Trap or Die podcast with the Cowboys, man. But RJ, before we get out of here, man, the floor is yours as always. Like I said, I appreciate you always coming through, man. You never hesitate to show some love to the Trap or Die.
Always,
let the people know where they can find you, hear from you, read from you. The floor is yours, big dog.
On Twitter at RJ Ochoa, nice and simple. Instagram too, if you want to see photos of my kid and dog. bloggingtheboys.com. That's kind of a hub for everything we do. You search Blogging the Boys anywhere, YouTube, podcast networks, Apple, Spotify, whatever. We have shows that come out every day. I'm on a lot of them. We're all pissed off, but we're channeling that into content creation. I'm so inspired that I recently created a TikTok, and so now I'm on TikTok. So RJ.Ochoa there. Seeing what that's all about. It's a different universe. Like I said, I'm a little bit old now, so I have to learn the tricks from the kids. But I enjoy coming and hanging out with you guys because if there's anything that makes me feel better about my Cowboys, it's the Carson Wentz-led Washington Commanders.
100%. I tell you, it's nothing makes a Cowboys fan feel better after a loss than a Commander loss. That's the only way I'm feeling better, bro.
Like I feel it's so cartoony, dude. Like Commanders, Carson. Like they would be like the uniforms are terrible. Like everything about it is just.
RJ, if they drop those black uniforms, if the Commanders drop the black uniforms. Those uniforms are fire, bro.
I don't think they're fire. They're fine.
All of them is fire.
Here's
all
the thing.
of them,
I'll say this, and I feel this way for other teams, like when the Eagles wear their Kelly green. If you're gonna do that, then you got to like the whole stadium has to be changed. You know, like I hate when the Dolphins wear their throwbacks, and midfield is the like current logo and all the banners on the side. Like no, like if you're gonna wear a different logo, if you're gonna wear a different color, cool, let's do it. But literally everything's got to be different. You got a whole staff, you got a whole week. Sometimes you get 2-3 weeks. I mean, like you can make it happen.
Facts.
All right. Hey, so listen, man. Hey, appreciate everybody tapping in to the Trap or Die podcast. R32 should be back next week. I got some people that I'm talking to, so I'm gonna try to get back on next Wednesday.
Right? Big right.
The commander side of all Trap or Die podcast will be back Tuesday live as well. So with that being said, we out of here. That was RJ Ochoa. Vlogging the boys, man. Make sure you tap in to everything SB Nation and the Cowboys. If you are a Cowboys fan, I hope you are not. That being said, we out of here, man. Enjoy y'all day, enjoy y'all evening.
Appreciate you, RJ.
All right, RJ, be easy.
Bye, Mike McCarthy.
Damn, set, hut, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through 4th and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.